Okay, last video, and we're going to move to where we are simplifying algebraic expressions using our rules of exponents. Okay, so that is these types of problems here. Now, I'm sure it probably seems like we kind of made a big jump. Okay, we kind of did, but we did a lot of these problems last year during our exponentials. I want you guys to remember we are watching these notes at home, and then we are going to practice when we get to class. Okay, so we should have plenty of time to practice and hopefully have a pretty good handle on these skills. Okay, but I'm going to work through 4 examples with you, and then you're going to have 4 examples that I want you guys to try on your own for your kind of homework. Now, when we solve these, there are a bunch of different ways. I hope you guys can hear me. I just realized I have my microphone up by my ear. There are a bunch of different ways that we can solve these, okay? And a lot of people get lost and a lot of people get confused because they don't follow a set order of steps. And what I did, because I get kind of lost and confused unless I know exactly what I'm going to do, I came up with a list of steps that if you do every single time, it will help you to stay organized and it will help you to get the right answer. So, off in your margins, these are the steps that you should do to solve these problems. Step 1. The first thing that we want to do if we are doing these problems here is you want to get rid of parentheses. The first thing I tell people to do is I tell people to get rid of the parentheses. Now, in order to do that, we are going to need to use our distributive property. Okay? I see 2 sets of parentheses right here. Those are the ones that I got to get rid of. Okay? I'm going to take this 2. And we're going to take 2 times 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4. So that becomes an a to the 4th power. I'm also going to take 2 times negative 3. 2 times negative 3 is going to give me a c to the negative 6. Now for the mistake that most people make. A lot of times people will just write a b. And that is wrong. Remember, this is a b to the 1st power. So I'm going to take that 2 times 2 to give me 4. I also need to take 2 times 1. 2 times 1 will give me a 2. So a squared b c to the negative 3rd squared ends up becoming an a to the 4th b squared c to the negative 6. That 2 has to go to everything up there. Okay? Then I just have a c cubed. It's just hanging out over here on the side. Okay? On the bottom, it's not quite as complex. On the bottom, I've got this negative 3, and the only thing that negative 3 has to go to is into the 2. Okay, so I'm going to take negative 3 times 2, gives me a b to the negative 6. I still have an a to the negative 1, and I have a c cubed. Okay, so that is our step 1. Step 1 was to get rid of the parentheses. Step 2. And again, this might not be what you want to do, but I'm telling you, if you follow the same steps every time, you're going to be able to keep track of your stuff. Step 2 is get rid of negatives. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look up here and I'm going to find any negative number on the top. C to the negative 6. What do I need to do with a negative exponent? Well, that needs to move to the bottom. I'm going to look down below. B to the negative 6. That's a negative. I need to get rid of that negative. So I'm going to move it up to the top. A to the negative 1. That's a negative. I need to move that up to the top. So my step 2 is to get rid of my negative. So now I'm going to move all of my negatives around. I've got an a to the 4th, b squared, c cubed. Now I also have a b to the 6th and an a to the 1st power. On the bottom, I have a c cubed, and then I have a c to the 6th that joined it. Okay? My third step is I want to combine like bases on top and bottom. Combine my like bases on the top and the bottom. Okay? So I'm going to look up top. I've got an a to the 4th and an a to the 1st. I can combine those two together, and when we combine, we add our exponents, so that would become an a to the 5th. I've also got a b squared, and a b to the 6th. Add our exponents, that becomes a b to the 8th. And then I have a c cubed. There's nothing else with a c cubed, so it's just going to be a c cubed. Okay? On the bottom, I have a c cubed and a c to the 6th. Combine those together, that becomes a c to the 9th. Okay? So step 3 was combine like bases on the top and the bottom. We've done that. Okay? Then our last step, step 4, is to cancel like bases between top and bottom. I was trying to think how I want to say that. Between the top and the bottom. B-W, that is for between. Okay? So I'm going to look. There's only an A on the top, nothing to cancel. Only a B on the top, nothing to cancel. But I've got a C cubed and a C to the 9th. So I could cancel those 3 C's. That just means I have to cancel 3 down here. So if I take away 3 from 9, I've got a C to the 6th. And I get my final answer is A to the 5th, B to the 8th, C to the 6th. And there we go. That's simplified. If you guys follow those 4 steps, I promise, okay, that you will make fewer mistakes and your work will be way more organized for you to figure out where your mistakes are. All right. The rest of these slides, if you are starting to feel comfortable, I want you to pause and try on your own and then watch me explain it. If you're still not quite comfortable yet, just keep watching and follow along with me. Okay? All right, first thing on this one here, I've got a -3 and I've got a -2. Step 1 is to get rid of the parentheses. Okay, the trick that I added with this one is we have numbers. I've got a 2 up there. Okay, a lot of people will look at this. They will distribute in that -3 and they'll be like, yeah, I know the -3 goes with 2. That's -6, x to the -6, y to the -9th. That is wrong. That is incorrect. Okay, the x and the y are great, but I do not take 3 times 2. Okay, we multiply the exponents. What's the exponent of the 2? Well, the exponent of the 2 would be a 1. So I need to take 3 times 1, and I end up with a 2 to the -3rd power. Okay, so when we do the bottom, doing it correctly, this is a 4 to the 1st power, an x to the 1st power, a y to the 1st power. So I'm going to take -2 times 1 on each of these spots there. That's going to be a 4 to the -2, an x to the -2, and a y to the -2. Okay? So I got rid of the parentheses. Next step is I need to get rid of my negatives. Holy cow, everything up here is negative. All of those 3 are going to move up top. All of those 3 are going to move down to the bottom. And when I do that, it essentially just flips everything. I've got a 4 squared, x squared, y squared, over, excuse me, 2 cubed, x to the 6th, y to the 9th. Next thing I need to do is I need to combine all of my like bases on top and then combine all of my like bases on the bottom. I can't do that. There's no like bases on top. There's no like bases on the bottom. So the next thing I need to do is I just need to cancel. So I've got a y squared. Well, I can take away 2 from this y down here. That leaves me with a y to the 7th. I've got an x squared. Take away 2 there. That leaves me with an x to the 4th. Now, what do I do with the numbers? Well, with the numbers, you're going to end up canceling them. But before we can cancel them, I need to know what those equal. So 4 squared, what does 4 squared equal? Well, that's 4 times 4. That gives me 16. Okay? What is 2 cubed? That's 2 times 2 times 2. So that gives me 8. Okay? So I've got a 16 over an 8. I have an x to the 4th. I have a y to the 7th because I was ready to cancel those x's and y's. The last thing I need to do now is I've got a 16 and an 8. You can plug that 16 and 8 into that calculator using your fraction button there. 16 on top, 8 on the bottom. Press enter and it'll pop out with a 2. Remember that is a 2 over 1. So this is going to be 2 over x to the 4th, y to the 7th. Okay, the other way you can look at that is you've got 8 and 16. If I take away 8 here, take away a factor of 8 from 16, and I am left with 2. Okay, so it's just reducing that fraction down to where you have 2 over 1. Okay, so those two are both quite a bit simpler. The last two that I'm giving you guys are going to be a little bit more complex. Okay, again, if you want, pause it, try it on your own, then watch what I do. Okay, first step is get rid of parentheses. So I'm going to multiply, 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 multiply. Okay, one additional step with this one, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, we had an x to the 0 there. Anything to the 0 power equals what? Well, anything to the 0 power equals 1. Okay? So really, this is a 1 times x to the negative third times 2. 1 times anything is just whatever that other part is, right? So I'm telling you guys right now, anytime you have something to the 0 power, you can just erase it. It doesn't matter. Okay? Anything to the 0 power is 1. So I'm multiplying a bunch of stuff together up here. Well, that's just a 1 times a 2. That's just 2. So we don't even care about that 1. That 1 doesn't matter. Okay? So if you have something to the 0 power, you can just cross it off, mark it off. You don't need to pay attention to it. Okay? So I'm going to go down through, finish my multiplying. Negative 3 times 2 gives me x to the negative 6. I've got a y that's just chilling in there. Xy to the negative 2 to the negative 3. That becomes an x to the negative 3, y to the positive 6. Over on the bottom, remember that's a 2 to the first power. So that becomes a 2 to the negative 3. It becomes an x to the negative 6. Y to the negative third, there's nothing going on with it. And then I've got 2 times 3 here. So that gives me an x to the 6th. Okay? A lot of you guys might want to start canceling stuff right now. Do not cancel now. First step, get rid of parentheses. Second step, get rid of our negatives. That needs to move down. That needs to move down. This needs to move up. This needs to move up. This needs to move up. Okay? So my new problem is going to be y to the 6th. Those were left on top. I'm also going to have a 2 cubed, an x to the 6th, and a y cubed. Okay? Down below, x to the 6th, x cubed. Those move down. And then I still have an x to the 6th down here on the bottom. Okay? Next thing I need to do is I need to combine my like terms on top. I have a y and a y to the 6th. Remember that y is just a y to the 1st, so that's going to be a y to the 7th. Okay? I've got a 2 cubed. Okay? If you want to, that 2 cubed, you can go ahead and write that as an 8, because we know 2 cubed is 8. Then I got an x to the 6th. Shoot. I'm sorry. I've got a y to the 1st, a y to the 6th, and a y cubed. I didn't see all those there. I thought that last one was an x. So y to the 1st, y to the 6th is 7, plus a y cubed gives me a y to the 10th. Okay, 2 cubed gives me 8, and then I just have an x to the 6th. Okay. On the bottom, I have an x to the 6th, an x cubed, and an x to the 6th. So 6 plus 3 is 9, plus another 6 is 15. So I've got x to the 15th on the bottom. The only other thing, I've got everything combined on top, everything combined on bottom, so now I just need to look to cancel. 6x is on top, so I need to take away 6 from 15, which gives me 9. So my final answer on this, I want to put the 8 out in front, because we have our numbers out in front when we write these. So that's 8 y to the 10th over x to the 9th. And there we go. Okay. Looking at my time on the video, guys, I'm going to pause this video, and then I'll do the last problem on another video, so it'll be a really short last video for you guys.